Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I am Ace, and I love Thanksgiving. And you're watching another episode of Sports Minute tonight, right here on the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. But let me introduce to you our co-host for the evening. Let's welcome him in. Our first guy, Mr. Big B. Big B, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good. Today was just family night tonight, so I don't have to talk about my awful card playing. So that's about it.
Good to hear. And Mr.
Yep.
James Gonzalez, how are you doing, sir?
I don't even know what day it is, but I'm happy to be here. Long day at work, and I'm just interested to see what topics we have and what will be brought up. Full of Minnesota sports topics, I wonder.
Well, I was going to say one of them is going to be because, we can't go this episode without talking about the playing games because there has been some good, playing games so far. We saw Big B's Minnesota Timberwolves knock off the Clippers, but James, don't get too discouraged yet because your Clippers still have a shot. All they have to do is beat the Pelicans and they're going to be in. But it's like we said before, this Pelicans team, don't take them lightly because they're no joke. They actually have some ballers on this team, so I think that they can actually make some noise against your Clippers. But I'll go ahead and I'll start out with Big B and get his thoughts because his team is the Minnesota Timberwolves. So, but let me ask you this question really quick before you give your analysis of the Timberwolves and Clippers. What do you think of Beverly getting all like super excited, jumping on the table, acting like you guys just won the freaking NBA finals?
The old saying is, you want to act like you've been there, and I know a lot of these guys have not been in the playoffs, so I guess celebrate. I mean, because you don't know what next round is going to bring. I ain't gonna lie. I watched. I think it was about midway through the second quarter through midway through the fourth quarter, and I actually thought I thought the Wolves were done. They went on a streak. They were streaky all night. Cat was in foul trouble all night. I think he had 4 fouls before halftime, and but they came on fire a few different times, hitting threes, hitting anything possible. And then there was a little disruption in the middle of a game. Somebody tried to glue themselves to the floor, which
Right.
whatever. Hopefully that lady's put away for a while or get some help. But yeah, I actually turned it off, and I think it was Crispy Bacon that messaged me in the Facebook, going, "Hey, your Wolves won." I'm like, "Oh, really?" Because it was like a 9-point game when I turned it off with about 5 minutes left, I think it was, and I thought they were done. But props to them. Sorry, James. The Clippers put up a good fight. I mean, it was a great game from what I saw, but I thought it was done at the end. The Wolves couldn't do nothing in the fourth quarter. So, and then when Cat, I think, actually did foul out, I was just like,
Yeah, he did. He fouled out.
this game's over with. So I turned it off. So,
Which
I'm glad they won.
which
Don't get me wrong.
he felt he once he fouled out though. Like at that point, I thought it was over. Like I thought, okay, if the Clippers have it, but then the announcer said it best. The announcer's like, the problem is even though Cat has fouled out, they're like the Clippers are allowing this young
Mm-hmm.
Timberwolves team to keep it close, and that was the problem. Was that the Clippers were not closing the door when they
No.
should have on a young team, especially after Cat fouled out. I'm like, you have to shut the door after he fouls out, and they
And,
just
and,
couldn't
the,
move.
and the one thing with the Wolves is, nobody expected them to be there. In the playing game. They expected them probably to toy with it throughout most of the season, toy with some of these good teams. They have nothing to lose. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they're out there. They kind of remind me of the Royals when they first won the World Series a few years ago with the young team they had. Nobody expected them to be there, so they're playing, loosey goosey, and if they march out of the first round, I'll take that as a big win. Getting to the playoffs, I'll take as a win. If they get any further than the first round, then that's huge for them. But I think they're matched up against Golden State right now. I think it is.
No, the Timberwolves will actually
Grizzlies.
be going,
The
will
Grizzlies.
be going
Okay.
against the Grizzlies, and
So
I'm saying good luck.
the bright side is, not really looking through the schedule, but I just recall them playing a lot of close games against some of these bigger teams.
Yeah.
So they know they can hang with some of these big teams. So
Well,
we'll see what happens. Good luck to them.
Well, I'm letting you know one of your fellow fans is, I should say one of your somebody that's also a Timberwolves fan is already calling for a Timberwolves upset over the Grizzlies and going on to the NBA Finals, which the person I'm saying, and he's already calling it. So
he was calling it a few months ago that the Wolves are going to take out the Warriors in the second round. So yeah. Hey, if they do, great. I mean, anything now is a big plus for Minnesota right now.
That's true.
All right, James, your analysis of the game, and I know you kind of came up on the short end of it.
Like he hasn't heard that one before.
Yeah, listen, I was able to get away from work for a bit and clean up and whatnot and listen to it until halftime. And right when I turned it on, hey, the Clippers were up 6 and Cat was in foul trouble.
Yep.
Now all of a sudden, they just went on a great run to either trail at the half by a little or lead. I can't recall. And then Cat got in foul trouble, and then he ended up fouling out. And it's funny, they went on a 16-2 run at the end of the game there to seal it. So it's funny how that is, how they were a bit faster. They were making their threes without Cat. Anthony Edwards, second-year player, he's very explosive, triple threat. I still remember last year when he had that dunk over I forget the Raptors player, but it was just amazing to see. And you see all this potential in this kid. And then you have D'Angelo Russell, who's been bouncing around. He had a good little stint with the Nets after craziness in LA with the Lakers. And he ended up having 29 points, Edwards with 30. That was just awesome to see if you're a Minnesota fan. Yeah, the funny part about that celebration is the TNT crew after syncing this whole celebration with, we are the champions and one shining moment and having the scenes of them going around, cat kissing whoever, girlfriend, wife, and Patrick Beverley going around, Anthony Edwards taking his shirt off and everything. And then D'Angelo Russell's there just doing the post-game show like he's been there before, like Big B mentioned. Everybody else is going crazy, and D'Angelo's there like, yeah, we did good. Young guy stepped up. And there's just chaos all around him at the Target Center. But you know what? It's been, since 2018, the last time the Timberwolves made the playoffs?
Yeah.
So it's a big feat to go to see what Cat has been going through since, 2020, losing family members and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And Patrick Beverley getting revenge against his old team, the youthfulness of Anthony Edwards, and then the veteran. I can't believe I'm saying veteran presence, but it's younger in the NBA than other sports. The veteran presence of D'Angelo Russell. So it all rolls into one, and I can't wait for that series against the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves. That's going to be amazing to watch. It should be, at least.
Playoffs.
So here's right before half, Towns exits with his fourth foul at 3:48. The Wolves are down 45-38.
That's it.
And then at halftime, it was 53-51. Wolves are leading at the break. So they outscored them 14-6 in that 3 minutes. And then like I said, they
Quiet your voice down.
So that's where we're at with that one.
Well, I mean, can anybody tell me like what it feels like for your favorite NBA team to at least be in the playoffs, because I don't know what that feels like.
Ace, just go on YouTube and type in 88, 89 finals, 90 finals, or 04 finals. You won't get disappointed.
Right. No, I'm definitely gonna have to, like, to relive the glory days in the NBA. That's what I have to do, because I don't even know what the playoffs feel like for my NBA team. I haven't felt it in so long that year we might make the playoffs. I might actually shed a little bit of a tear, because
You're going to be doing the happy dance at home. You're going to be jumping on your table if the Pistons make the playoffs.
Absolutely. Like, absolutely. I'll be like, oh my God, we made the playoffs. Oh my God. So
celebrate with Little Caesars pizza after.
So yeah, James. So Friday will be a big test, to see if your Clippers can beat the Pelicans and move on to the playoffs. It's going to be a great test for you. Big B, you guys have a hard matchup in the first round going up against the Grizzlies. Good luck with that. Like, that's a very good, scrappy team, and they had been winning without John Morant, which is the scary part, because John Morant had been out for a while, and they still kept winning
twice.
So once John Morant comes back, guess what? I think the team's going to even be better yet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is to me, if the Wolves don't get swept, let's say it goes 5 games, they win 1. It's 2 out of, or is it 4 out of 7, or is it 3 out of 5? 4 out of 7. Okay.
7.
All right, so yeah, if they win a game, they play close. Like I said, as a fan, you got to count that as a moral victory, even though that doesn't mean nothing. But if they go out there and lay 4 eggs, then yeah, you might still need a little bit of work. I mean, they're not destined to go to the finals anytime soon. Keep them around, and maybe we're looking at maybe 3 years down the road. But stranger things have happened in sports.
Absolutely. And then we have the other side of it, that the Spurs just got eliminated tonight against the Pelicans. But I'll tell you, they were a scrappy team. They were scrappy. They kept fighting back, but in the end, they just kind of ran out of steam. They were behind by too much, and the Spurs just couldn't come back from it. So, unfortunately, sometimes that's just how things happen, and it sucks. It really sucks. So, with the play-in games, James, what is your predictions for the last 2 play-in games?
Man, first in the West, the Clippers should win at home, but I recall the last time they played, the Clippers won by almost 30, but this game has more of a meaning to it. And if McCollum doesn't go off like he did, he had 26, I think, in the first half, if I recall, tonight.
27 in the first half.
27 in the first half. So if he doesn't go off like that, and Ingram doesn't do his thing, maybe the Clippers will win. So I'll give it to the Clippers. And then for the Hawks and the Cavs, at the first game on Friday, it seems like the Cavs have been on a downward spiral ever since losing Jared Allen, that defensive presence in there. Trae Young tonight kind of went off along with Hunter. They're without John Collins, and he's a big presence in there as well. So if the Cavs are able to keep it low, they can win. But if the Hawks, if they score and they get out on the run and make their threes, I'm gonna have to give it to the Hawks. It seems like these teams, these 2 seeds should be switched in a way. The Cavs should be in the play-in to start. They shouldn't have been, or at least they shouldn't have been the 7th seed, or no, I think 8th seed. It should have been the Hawks that were a higher seed. But I'm gonna go Clippers and Hawks on Friday.
All right. So Nate is saying I have PG 13% Clippers beating the Pelicans tomorrow. They don't play tomorrow. They actually play Friday. So so you can see them play on Friday. And then Shardola saying hi, and then Nate is saying that he also has the Hawks. Now, keep in mind, this is the Hawks team that caught fire last year, and was able to make it as far as they did. Now, did I think they were going to make the NBA Finals? No. I figured that they were going to run out of steam. I figured once they got up against the Bucks, I was like, they don't quite have enough, and I figured that they weren't going to. But this could still be that same team because they have a scrappy guy in Trae Young, so they could definitely catch fire anytime. So I do have the Hawks. I've got the Hawks beating the Cavaliers. And sorry, James, I got to do it. I got to say it. I got to take the Pelicans. I think the Pelicans are going to come out. I really think they are. I think they're going to beat the Clippers. I don't mind if the Clippers win. I have no problems with the Clippers whatsoever. But my gut just tells me that the Pelicans are young and scrappy, and I think that they're going to take this, especially if McCollum gets hot. If McCollum gets hot and goes off like he did tonight, Clippers are in for a tough time. Big B?
Man, if the Clippers played like they did against the Wolves and let them in, I think the Pelicans are going to do it. So the Clippers got to change up a little bit of what they did against the Wolves. I want to see the Clippers do it. I think they deserve it. They're at home. Hopefully, the home crowd's behind them and they change it up a little bit. So I'll take the Clippers in the second game. In the first game, let Cleveland win. Let Cleveland kind of keep rubbing it into LeBron James. Shouldn't have left the second time. I hope he doesn't come back for a third time. So, I say Cleveland and the Clippers just keep rubbing it in. Digging that, Mr. LeBron. So that's what I got.
Let Cleveland win. That's funny. Just let him win. Just let him win.
Let him win. Just kind of dig at LeBron that he shouldn't have left. I mean, he's gotten far. They've gotten farther than the Lakers did this year. So,
right? No, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if Cleveland won, but I just think that the Hawks are going to be too much.
I think they're both going to be good games.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I think they're both going to be good too. I just think that the Hawks are going to be too much for the Cavaliers. Hawks are a scrappy team too. So, going away from that, let's go ahead and jump into a little bit of MLB from what we've seen this week so far. Kind of what I figured with starting the MLB season. I figured we'd see some hitters struggling, and you're kind of seeing it. You're kind of seeing a lot of hitters around the league struggle bad because of the lack of at-bats that they had in spring training. I mean, there's an individual, and he plays on my favorite team, Dansby Swanson, right? He's had 24 at-bats, and he has struck out 14 times. So it's just saying, it's tough. And a lot of these guys are saying, especially Swanson after that tough start, he's saying he's a guy who needs at least, 40 to 50 at-bats in spring training so he can time these pitches and everything. And he hasn't had that. They haven't had as many at-bats. So a lot of them are struggling. And you even see the pitchers struggling. The starting pitchers are struggling too. They are. They are.
Well, I mean, they are to a point. I mean, they didn't get their work in the spring, but I mean, so far, for the Twins, because I did watch some opening series against Seattle, the starting pitchers impressed me. I mean, even for Seattle, Ryan went 7 innings opening day. I didn't think we'd see a lot of starters go 5 innings, but you talk about somebody that's struggling, Ace. I mean, Sano for the Twins. 0
Is
for
he?
19, 9 strikeouts. The guy looked at a beautiful pitch today on an 0-2 count, right down the middle, and kept the bat on the shoulder, and yep, went to the dugout. I could have slapped him through the TV if I could have, you know. So, but yeah, I mean, Ace, you're right. A lot of top hitters, got to get those swings in. They missed a lot during spring training, so I've said it before. The first month of the season is probably going to show us a lot that we typically will see in spring. See where teams stand, players stands. Right now, Sano should be riding the pine next to the coach. So I'd put Crispy Bacon back there to let him swing the bat. I mean,
You couldn't do any worse, right?
give him one of those big wiffle red bats that had the barrel that was like 2 feet big. Sano still probably could. Sano couldn't hit a beach ball if it was thrown at him probably right now.
Yeah, it's weird because I was watching Austin Riley at bat too, and normally he's a really good hitter, and it was a 2-0 count, and he's facing Rogers, a newer pitcher. He's facing him, and he pitches a pitch inside. He swings at it, and so I'm like, okay, he'll probably pitch the same pitch again. He pitched the same exact pitch, and Riley sees it, and he swings. So I'm looking at the wife, and I was like, I guarantee right now that pitcher's going to throw the same pitch for a third consecutive time, and Riley's going to swing for a third consecutive time. And he pitched the same pitch, and he swung a third time, and he struck out. I'm like, dude, didn't you learn your lesson the first 2 times?
Well, no, it's like the snow bat I was talking about today. He swung at 2 breaking balls, probably sliders, maybe a curveball, and then he looked at one that was way outside the zone. It's like I'm thinking to myself, okay, he's going to come with a fastball right down the middle. Belt high. Maybe it might have been a little bit inside, but it was belt high fastball. And he just stares at it. I'm just like, they teach you in Little League. 2 strikes, you're protecting the plate.
Absolutely.
And I got somebody who's struggling.
Okay, go ahead.
Shohei Ohtani, the MVP last year in the American League. He's 4 for 25, has 1 double, and the rest are all singles. No home runs. It's a thing me and my friends talk about on Halos in the Infield, the page I work for. All he does is try to hit home runs, and it has to be pitches that are inside, middle in, actually, and he's missing those right now. Justin Verlander just came back. He's been out. He made his first start on Saturday. He hasn't started a game since July of 2020. And he came back, and he was firing 96, 98 right at Shohei to swing and miss. It was just amazing to see. And usually Shohei just kills those balls. And so far, I don't know what it is. Big B mentioned, the batters – aren't fresh yet, and maybe the pitchers maybe aren't as well. Some are, some aren't. But Shohei, I thought he was going to get off to a better start. Mike Trout does have 1 home run, but that's about it. There's not a lot of Angels hitting, but Shohei, I thought he would get off to a better start. He did have a pretty good outing opening day pitching. They didn't allow him to go 5 innings for some reason, but he struck out 9. So I'm looking for Shohei to do better. Again, being 4 for 25, it actually could be worse for him. But, luckily right now, it's just the beginning of the season. He starts tomorrow against Chris's Rangers, set of 4 games in Texas. And maybe being on the road in Texas through with Houston after, maybe that will get him going. Who knows? But everybody, there's high expectations for the Angels and for Ohtani this year.
Did he not have a slow start last year to a point, either pitching or hitting? He was kind of
trying to recall.
I know he could have been about average, But
pitching, he had a slow start, but out of the gate, he was hitting well. And then once he got into the home run derby, that really cut him off because he was on pace to have over 50 home runs.
He was killing it.
He ended up having, I think, 47, if I recall correctly. And let's see. Sorry. 46 home runs. But he was slated to have over 50.
I think at one point he was on pace for like 60 something, I think.
Right, but I knew that wasn't going to be the case.
No.
Right. But it seemed like after that home run derby, he hit maybe 10 or 11 more. So it actually started off well. It's kind of opposite so far this season.
So the one thing I will say about MLB, and I know Big B, we were going to talk about it, but I think we might have jinxed it a little bit with Stephen Kwan from the Indians because, we had talked, we're like, hey, let's go on there, talk about Stephen Kwan that all season, he
did he finally miss a pitch?
Yeah. And tonight he struck out.
But I mean, still to go, what they say, 100 and some pitches.
It was 114. Like it was 114 at bats that he went without.
I thought it was pitches. It wasn't at bats.
Sorry, pitches. It was 114 pitches without.
Yeah, leave it up to me to jinx something. I mean, but still to not miss a pitch in that, you're connected on everything. I mean, that's just remarkable. I mean, I don't even think I could do that in T-ball without missing a ball. I mean,
I'm seeing his stat line right now. He's also walked 8 times.
Oh, yeah.
Not only being 10 for 19, but he's walked 9 or 10 times. That's really good.
Yeah.
For a young hitter like that. I mean, no home runs, but maybe he's just a slapper, hitter. I'm fine.
Yeah.
There's not enough of those players, honestly. There's not enough of those players. And then one more guy I could think of that's really struggling is David Fletcher. And Ohtani's leading off and Fletcher's ninth. Usually Fletcher leads off. And he's also been struggling. It's a mystery why Joe Madden, the Angels manager, doesn't put those on-base table setter hitters, first and second. Then you get Trout. Then you get Ohtani. Then you get Rendon. And that's just not happening for the Angels right now. It's messing really everything up.
So, I lost my train of thought there for a second. What's
okay.
up?
Did you find your train of thought or what?
Go ahead.
All right. So I want to get on Nate's comment here. Well,
listen.
Who's struggling is whoever thought it was a good idea to pull Clay Kershaw out of a perfect game. Now, I'm a Minnesota Twins fan, and I love history, But, yeah, I mean, I was just looking at his stats here to see what I had here. So he had 7 innings, 13 Ks, 80 pitches, 53 strikes, 0 walks. Yeah, I'm leaving him in there.
But the problem is I get where you guys are coming from, but the thing is their arms are not completely stretched out, and you don't want to take a chance at injuring the pitcher because their arms are not completely stretched out yet. So a lot of managers saying right now the pitch counts are going to be around 80 to 90. That's going to be about it tops until their arms are completely stretched out.
Yeah, I get that point, but that's one thing that's way different about this day and age of baseball. Back in the 80s, 90s, I mean, you got a perfect game going, and your coach is going to come out in the 8th and take you out. I mean, you're going to see a lot of fights in the dugout.
Well, I think guys like Nolan Ryan are
Nolan Ryan can punch, so
would have been like, I know you ain't coming out to this mountain to take me out. Like, you better be coming out to give me like a cup of water or something like that. Because you're not taking me out.
Blackjack Morris said it best in '91. He wasn't coming out of that game. There was going to be a fight. He said it. He said Tom Kelly came out. He was going to fight him. I mean, Smoltz, Glavine, Clemens. I mean, anybody has a perfect game. There's going to be a fight. I mean.
Absolutely. But
I mean, I get it. I get the point, like you said, Ace. The pitchers haven't got their full, spring training in. That they're on a pitch count. I get it, but man, it would be hard for me as a manager to go out there, and it would be hard for me from a pitcher to be like, "Hey, you're not taking me out, bud." Even though it probably was a smart move to do.
Now I remember what it was.
All right.
So first series of the year for the Reds, they were playing against Atlanta, and Joey Votto was batting, right? Joey Votto pops it up. And when he pops it up, our pitcher made the catch, right? So then an interesting stat that I did not know about. In Joey Votto's career, this was the first time he ever popped the ball up to the pitcher.
Who keeps tracks of those stats?
I know, but I'm saying though, like
Elias Sports Bureau.
Yeah, I'm saying though, that is freaking impressive though.
No, you're right.
He's been playing for a long time, and I'm like, that's insane. Like,
that's definitely you're right about that. I mean, but it's like, who the heck came up with that stat? I mean, that's like we've all seen like Major League, Little Big League, and I remember them doing a stat. Well, this guy has hit 4 home runs or 400 in the month of April. In odd years after the 7th inning. It's just like, who really keeps all those stats?
That was Little Big League. I remember that.
Big League. Yeah, I was just like,
I love that.
I just don't get some of these stats. I mean,
the thing is, like the infielders always call off the pitchers, so that's why it rarely happens. It's hit right to them.
Yeah, but the reason why this happened though this year was simply because that shift was on, and Joey Votto is left-handed, so everybody was on the right side. So when he popped it up, he hit it towards the left side, so the pitcher had to run off the mound and run to foul territory on the third base side, and he made the catch. And then I hear that was the first time in Joey Votto's career that he popped out to a pitcher. I'm like, dude, that is crazy. I'm like, that is freaking crazy.
One of the Twins games, they had a pop up, and Sano's coming in from first. The pitcher was backing up, I think, and Sano called him out, but yet the ball dropped like next to the pitcher. And it's just like, really? And Dan Gladden, he goes, see, that's why you don't let pitchers catch the ball. It's just like, yeah, so.
That's awkward.
Oh, look. Welcome. Look who's here. Isaiah's here.
Can't see him.
What's up, guys? I haven't seen you guys and talked to you guys in a couple of weeks. So,
thank God.
Glad to be on. Baseball season's off to a great start. And I'm still buzzing over the fact that my baby goat had 31-point triple-double the other night. So it's all good. Life is good in my town.
Freaking crazy, man. Jumping away from that, let's get into something that's at least relevant. Relevant and not crazy. So there was a report that came out today, because we're going to jump a little bit to the NFL side here. But there was a report that came out today that Baker Mayfield came out and said he was a little bit stunned and kind of upset once he found out that Cleveland was trading for Deshaun Watson. So my question is simply this, because we know before that supposedly Baker Mayfield had requested a trade. Cleveland had told him, no, we're not going to accept that. We're not going to trade you. But the report also came out today that Deshaun Watson will not be suspended at all. Nothing's going to be brought up. He will be allowed to play. So does this change the game now? Like, does Cleveland now be like, okay, so Watson's playing, so now we're going to trade Mayfield? Or do you truly believe that the Browns are going to be that franchise and be like, we're going to hold this guy hostage and not trade him? So, Big B, what do you think? Do you think that Cleveland's going to come to their senses, be like, okay, we're going to trade him, we're going to get something for him? Or are they going to indeed hold him hostage?
I mean, there's realistically, 3 teams that need a quarterback right now?
Realistically, 3 or 4, yeah.
Seattle, Pittsburgh,
Atlanta.
Atlanta. So, I mean, unless there's a bidding war right now, I mean, Browns have no bargaining chips on the table. They're going all in on 2-3 suited, at the poker table. They have no room to bargain. The best thing for the Browns would have been for Watson to get suspended, and then everybody coming like, hey, now we'll make a trade for Mayfield. They have nothing. So it'd be foolish for them to hold on to him. But again, what's the asking price right now for him, or what's the going rate going to be? He'll probably get moved at draft time. I say probably after the first round, so second day possibly. But I mean, yeah, we would like to have two good quarterbacks. I mean, one that's only going to cost us $1 million, and one that's going to cost us 12, 13 mil that Mayfield's costing. So they're kind of stuck in a hard spot right now.
They are.
They have no bargaining. Somebody offers them a 7th round pick, and that's the only phone call that rings. Do you take it?
So mess around saying what's up, and he's saying they'd be smart to keep him. They still don't know how many games Watson is going to play. He's there, but is he going to play the whole season? Is something going to come up? We don't know yet.
Well, they said they're not going to do any trials during the season.
Yeah, but something
else. He's going to play all season. I mean, outside the injuries, he's playing all. He's going to be penciled in as a starter.
And then mess around saying, I think if he does get dealt, it'll be to Seattle. So potentially Seattle. So James, do you think that Cleveland holds on to him, or do you think that they actually indeed end up trading him?
It would be the Browns' thing to keep him around, and it would kind of look like the Ben Simmons, thing in training camp this season where, he was forced to go to practice because he was losing money. He was out there with sweatpants and his phone in his pocket, just jogging around scrimmage, 5-on-5, It would feel kind of like that, where you could tell he doesn't want to be there. It's almost like the situation with Watson in training camp this year with Houston, or last season with Houston, where he was there, but you knew he wasn't going to be there long. He didn't want to talk to anybody. He didn't want any questions asked about anything. It feels like Baker Mayfield is kind of like the Rodney Dangerfield of the NFL right now. He gets no respect from anyone, and part of that is him. Part of that is his play, his injuries. He played with the shoulder injury the whole time. I think he gets traded, but I can't see more than a 4th round pick, if that.
Right.
It has to be like a 5th or 6th round, which would be crazy for me to think, a 3rd or 2nd round pick. There's just no way. The one thing about Watson I have to remember, too, in this press conference with the Browns, and you mentioned, none of the trial stuff will go on during the season. But I remember in his press conference with the Browns, he mentioned he's going to have a hands-on approach with the Cleveland community. And that just sounded so weird and bad, considering what he allegedly did in Houston. Hands-on approach. It just sounds weird. But, yeah, I think Baker gets moved around the draft or, released if nobody really wants him.
Oh, that would be really –
right.
That might honestly be the Browns' best move.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I don't think he's going to Pittsburgh because I don't think they would trade him within the division. I don't think so. So I could either see him going to Detroit or Seattle because those are like the two places that really need a quarterback. All right, Isaiah, what do you think is going to happen with Baker?
I'm rooting for them to keep him because I want to see the Browns be the Browns and have $70 million in cap space devoted to 2 quarterbacks on your roster. That's literally going to be the most hilarious thing ever. But, in terms of what I think the Browns should do, I think for the Browns' sake, you have to trade him because it's literally going to make a bad situation even worse if you keep him and make him go through practices and have to attend meetings and stuff like that. He might be sabotaging your team if you put him through what James mentioned with the whole Ben Simmons thing. So you might as well trade him. Go trade him because we all know that Deshaun Watson is going to be the Cleveland Browns starting quarterback if and when he's cleared. Baker Mayfield, he's going to be the backup, and do you really want him messing with the culture of the locker room and making everything toxic and chaotic? You don't want that, so you might as well just trade him. Go get what you can get for him. If it's like a 7th-round pick, if it's a 5th-round pick, well, then go and get that because that's better than nothing, and it's better than you releasing him. And the team that you guys didn't mention that I'm really stunned that you guys didn't mention as a suitor for Baker Mayfield, and I don't know why they're not in the conversation at all, is the Carolina Panthers. Matt Rule is on the hot seat. He needs to make the playoffs next season. There's no way that you're going to make the playoffs with Sam Darnold, who can't even hold a football to save his life. I mean, Stewie Griffin could hold the football much better than Sam Darnold could. This is how pathetic of a quarterback Sam Darnold is. You are not going to make the playoffs with Sam Darnold. You might as well get Baker Mayfield because even though Baker Mayfield is not a star quarterback, he is a guy that's serviceable, and he's a guy that could help lead you to maybe getting a wild card in the NFC and help save Matt Rue's job because you do have McCaffrey, you do have Robbie Anderson on that team. You don't have like that great of weapons, but you don't have the worst weapons in the world. So I think the Panthers, if Cleveland is only if they're gonna only get like a 5th-round pick or a 6th-round pick back for Mayfield, it would be a no-brainer for Carolina to trade a 5th or 6th-round pick to Cleveland for Baker Mayfield. It would absolutely be a no-brainer. I mean, Matt Rule, you would be handed a golden opportunity on a golden play, and if you don't take it, then you might as well resign from your job as the head coach of the Carolina Panthers and sign on to coach elementary school football because that would be literally the dumbest thing in NFL history if you don't make that move.
So Mess Around is saying he didn't bring up Carolina because he felt like they don't want to make another deal for a quarterback and get burnt, which
No, go ahead, Ace. Keep going.
No, it's fine. I was just going to say in that move, I don't know if I would like that move. And the reason is because you're not getting that much of an upgrade from Sam to Baker. To be perfectly honest, you're not. Yeah. It's not that big of a difference. So if I'm Carolina, I feel like if I go after and get Baker, I feel like I could just get burnt again. Because is Baker going to be able to lead that team into the playoffs? I don't think so. He could barely do anything with the Cleveland team that he was with now, with the guys he had with Odell Beckham and Jarvis.
Better talent.
Yeah, and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. He couldn't do anything with any of those guys. And there's not a lot in Carolina, so I don't really think he could do anything in Carolina. But Big B, you were going to say something.
I don't think Carolina's going to make the move because they got a 1st. And then looking through the draft order, it looks like they have a 4th and then a 5th. So I don't think they got the assets to really toy around with the quarterback. Now, a team, Ace, that you mentioned, Detroit, that would be kind of suiting. I mean, they got a lot of picks this year. And I was just looking at it, Detroit has if they really think they're a quarterback away, and the way the Browns are, maybe dangle that 32nd pick in the 1st round to them. And then I was also looking too, Seattle has the 40 and 41st pick in the 2nd round. If Seattle wants to dangle those two out there, I know it's too high. Trust me, I get it. It's too high. But if you think you're a quarterback away, I mean, Detroit's obviously further out. But if they want a younger quarterback and get rid of Golf, maybe they dangle that 32nd pick out there. Maybe Seattle dangles the 2 second rounds out there. Granted, James, I agree. You're shaking your head. Seattle's not that far off. I mean, you get a younger quarterback if they keep their weapons there.
Yeah.
So
I think Detroit has to ride with Goff, and then in Seattle, they just have to bite the bullet for this season with whoever they have. It's
Drew
just a
Lock
mess
right
right now in all the situations.
Yeah,
Well,
right
and
now.
Drew Lock's not even that bad, to be honest with you.
What, Drew Lock?
Yeah, he's not even that bad. I mean,
What has Drew Lock done? What has he done?
his rookie year, he was phenomenal.
Okay,
What?
but that
Anybody
was
would
like 2 years ago.
Anybody would
That-
struggle under Pat
that's
Shermer's and
Chris,
Vic
that's
Fangio's
one.
incompetence.
No, that's two. That's two. Because he came on and talked about the so-called baby goat. That's 2 wild Isaiah takes already.
I'm like, this is crazy.
Drew Lock's rookie year. Okay, Isaiah.
Years.
I think his rookie year, I think he threw more interceptions than touchdowns.
What's the air
Yeah.
quality out there in California tonight? I mean, you've been behind a couple of those airplanes that come rolling in. Got some fumes up there.
It's smoking.
I truly believe that Drew Lock in Seattle, I think he's going to light it up. I really do, because I think that Seahawks offense is more modern based and it's more competent than what they're running in Denver. I mean, Denver's offense, you put Tom Brady in that system, he would look like a 6th round pick, because because their offense is predicated on running the football first 2 downs, and then 3rd down, have a wide receiver go over the middle for a 5-yard gain, and you move the chain. It's like a dinosaur offense, man. It's the offense that you ran in the 80s with Emmitt Smith and those guys. You don't run that type of offense now in the NFL.
So,
All right, here is Drew Lock's rookie numbers, Isaiah. 5 games. Okay, 4-1 as a starting quarterback. 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns, 3 picks. Let me see.
his
He was
second
sacked
year,
5
he was
times.
like 16 touchdowns and like 15 interceptions.
Yeah,
So you're
his second year, 13 games, 4-9 record, almost 3,000 yards, 16 touchdowns, 15 picks.
yeah, you're telling me.
The guy got sacked 19 times. And then last year he started 3 games. He went 0-3. 700 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now, I will give Isaiah a little bit of credit. I mean, Seattle's weapons are probably a little bit better. He's got DK Metcalf. He's got
Tyler
Lockett.
Lockett.
yeah. But again, you still, the quarterback still has to be able to produce and get the ball out. We'll see. I mean, but I wouldn't draft Lock in a fantasy league if I needed a quarterback.
Well, I drafted him in the 2nd round after his rookie year ended.
Oh my god.
It didn't end well, obviously, but I blame the offensive coordinator more than I blame Locke. I think with a change in offense, I think it would really benefit him.
I think Messerau said it right, like this right here. Trey Lance is the next Drew Lock.
Yeah, right? And he's saying Drew Lock sucks, bro. I mean, right now he really hasn't shown much of anything. He really hasn't.
You really drafted Drew Lock in the 2nd round of the year?
Pick 23. There's actually live video of it because we did a live draft show on MI6, and I drafted Drew Lock 2nd round, pick 23. He was my starting quarterback for like the first 7 games of the season.
Yikes.
He got beat out by Teddy Bridgewater.
What was that, Ace?
He got beat out by Teddy Bridgewater to start a quarterback. So
Mr. Game Manager.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm like, come on, man.
That's 3 wild takes already. Yeah.
Oh man, this. Whew, boy,
Off
that
the Victor.
Yeah, that was getting interesting. I'm not gonna lie. That was getting interesting.
And again, I mean, new place. Possibly we could see some improved numbers, but first, how about you play more than? Well, he did play 13 in his second year, but
possibly, but there's a lot of rumors to go though right now going out that Seattle's willing might trade Metcalf. They might trade Lockett. There's teams that are going after them, so he may not even have Metcalf or Lockett.
No,
and that's the whole thing is the way people are throwing around draft picks and getting those 1-2 pieces that they think. Honestly, Ace, I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers go make a move for one of those 2 receivers to help Rodgers out. I don't know what they probably can't, but
they have been trying.
Yeah,
Lockett.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just Seattle,
and then Seattle's defense isn't going to really stop anyone. They proved that last year.
No, they're not.
So it's like they're going to be behind every game, no matter how much they score with whoever they have. It doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like because fans reached out to Pete Carroll and they asked him, and they're like, so Pete, why are you guys wanting to trade all these guys? Are we in rebuild mode?
Yes.
And he's like, no. He's like, we have all the pieces we have right now to win, and that's what we're doing. We're not in rebuild mode. We're just we're going with the pieces we have, and we're going to be good. And I'm like,
now Metro also made a good comment here, and Ace, it might scare us in the north, but if they get DK Metcalf, I mean, they got a young quarterback they could build around. They got a young receiver, Metcalf, to build around. I mean, that might be a little scary combination there, And then Chris is talking about the Cowboys moving up.
Yeah, that could always happen. You know what, Ace? You know what those Seattle fans should have asked Pete Carroll?
To retire?
Are you quitting now?
Right?
Can we start over?
Right. But
can we go back to blue jerseys?
So the last thing I wanted to bring up in the NFL tonight before we called it a show, I saw this today, Big B, and I really wanted to get your thoughts on it. With you being a Vikings fan, because this was something that Kirk Cousins said when they asked
giving
him,
all his money back.
When they asked him today about his contract, he said, "My plan." He's like, I feel like I should be a Viking for life until I retire, and I'm like, oh,
yikes!
He keeps those big guaranteed contracts. He will be a Viking for life. I mean, the thing is, you look at his numbers, they're not bad. I mean, we all know that.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest numbers that stick out every year is his primetime game, his playoff games, But the thing is a lot of that, he's off the field half the time. So what's the defense doing? He can't make plays. He can't run. The offensive line needs to block. We all know that. Yeah, I mean, if he ends up staying here, I mean, he's going to have to start winning. I mean, the Vikings' new ownership or new GM and coach, they're not calling it a rebuild mode. They're calling it
retool.
Not retooling. They're using a different name. It's still we know they're rebuilding. We're not dumb, but I can't remember. But anyways, and if they want to run the offense that the Rams ran to win the Super Bowl this year, Cousins ain't that guy. I mean, Stafford can run a little bit. Cousins can't. So. We'll see what happens there, but yeah, I did read those comments, and if you're getting trophies, then yeah, stay as a Viking. But if you're, not, then you gotta move on. The Vikings gotta move on. So, but we'll see where that goes.
All right, yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to bring up there, and then obviously there was something that happened in James's world just recently, as far as the Raiders when they extended Derek Carr for another 3 years. He's now guaranteed to be with the Raiders until 2025. James, are you excited about this?
I'm nervous because it's winning time. It has to be winning time. It's been winning time. He's got a chance to go from, middle of the pack to an elite quarterback. Even though he gets paid like an elite quarterback with this extension, he's not there yet. Now you get Davante Adams. Now you get a host of other players coming with you. There's a no trade clause, so you're riding with him, And I know a lot of the fan base doesn't like him, just because it seems like he doesn't go hard enough, or he slips up, or he's not as clutch, but he really is. So it's funny seeing the dysfunction with the fan base on social media with the Raiders. And, it's easy to say, hey, he's the quarterback until he's not. And there's been so many years where you feel like, I don't know how long he's got, but, now with Davante Adams, his friend there, and you got Renfro, you got Waller, you got Jacobs, you got a retooled little defense now. Thought we had that last year, but after a while that went to what. The pressure's on. Like, there's no doubt about it. I can't wait for the season, but I want to win something, with him. He's never won a playoff game. He started his first last year, and it's winning time, basically. And Derek Carr, the organization feels like, hey, he's the one going forward. He only wanted to be a Raider. He feels comfortable here, and it's just winning time, basically, for him and the Raiders.
So, Dave saying Rex Grossman is our quarterback. so
the Raiders and the Vikings are kind of like the fan base are the same boat with their quarterback. I mean, they are good, but they haven't done nothing to get this money. So, James is stuck on laughing there.
I'm here, but you can't see me.
So then to finish up, one final thing to throw out there for the team, whatever team Isaiah likes right now. I'm going to go with the 49ers because I'm guessing that's the team he likes. But to say that, it came out that Debo had basically taken everything 49ers related off of his Instagram, took everything off completely. And they asked him, and they said, what's this about? And Debo's like, I don't want to get into anything right now. So we have no idea what's going on with Debo. We have no idea. Like, does Debo want out?
Wants to get paid by the Niners. That's what
I'm telling you, he's going to want to get paid, but the Niners are so wrapped up with paying everybody else that are they going to be able to pay Debo what he wants? And so that might be a problem. So Isaiah, this is your team. So before we wrap it up, you get one final throw out of this.
Well, apparently Debo wants $25 to $26 million per year, which would be higher than Davante Adams. It would be higher than Tyreek Hill's contract. It would basically be borderline. It would basically be like the highest offensive player, not named a quarterback, not named the quarterback's money. So, I'm honestly kind of warming up to the idea of trading Debo because, Debo, if you trade him, right, like it's going to be a big loss, no doubt, because he's one hell of a receiver, but you still have IU, and you probably would get a massive haul back in return. I know there's been reports that the Jets could offer up their pick, their first-round pick. You probably would get like multiple first-round picks and a couple seconds, maybe even a third in return. And if you pay Debo, yeah, he's a great talent, but you would be handcuffing yourself, and you wouldn't be able to get enough money to re-sign Bosa, to re-sign other integral parts of, the 49ers offense and defense. So, I would not give Debo like $25-26 million per year. If I were to pay him, it would be like 20-22. He's a great player, no doubt, but I just think 25 to 26 is way, way too much money. And if the Niners do trade him, I think it will create a lot of flexibility, and you can use that first round pick that you get in a potential trade, and you can draft Trey Lance's buddy and his top target that he threw to at North Dakota State, and that is Earl Watson, I believe, the receiver out of North Dakota State. I would not mind doing that because I think Watson would be good. Plus, you have IU, and also you would have other picks to work with, and also that receiver Watson will be on a rookie deal. So I'm warming up to the fact of trading Debo. Obviously, I don't want Debo to go, but if he wants a lot of money, then the Niners probably have no else to do but to trade him, honestly.
All right, well, that brings it to the final portion of the show. This is where we go ahead and we wrap it up. So, Brandon, any final thoughts for you?
All right, I got 3 quick things here. First, shout out to the San Francisco Giants. They had the first women coach on the field today. First base coach got ejected. She got a call, so she got the first woman to play ball. Second, Isaiah, I can't wait to see your homework assignment that I gave you in our chat next week. I can't wait to see what kind of team we get to rag on.
I'm trying to research college coaches already, so don't worry about that.
And like Dave said, make it realistic.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third one, I just lost my third thought. So hopefully I'll get it before we end up. But go ahead.
Yeah, you know what though? To bring that up, just really, really quick, I think. Oh,
go ahead with your quick thought.
I said I'll even come up with a way that I think the Pistons could improve next year.
Oh, we could all pick our teams if we want. If we want to do it that way.
Absolutely.
But I really want to hear Isaiah's.
Yeah, I'll come up with the Pistons. James, you can do the Clippers, and then Big B, you do the.
All right, we can do it that way, but I really want to hear Isaiah's.
Yeah, all right.
So I do got one quick. The number is 1, and it happened. It's a combination of both of my teams here for baseball. The St. Paul Saints got no hit today, and the Twins had 1 hit today. So between them, they only got 1 hit.
Oh,
way to go!
That's rough.
Yeah, it is.
All right. And then James, any final thoughts?
Sorry about that, Big B. Damn.
I know.
Yeah, but congrats to one winning team in Minnesota, at least yesterday. The Timberwolves in the playoffs. Lynx basketball is coming up pretty soon as well. The Clippers have to win on Friday or their season is over. Kawhi's not coming back this year. So, if they did lose, it won't be such a bad thing. It was just still, it's amazing to me that the Clippers made the play-in and the other team on the other side of the city didn't. So it's pretty amazing how this season went. Amazing to see Alyssa Nikayan be the first base coach for the Giants. I saw her do the same thing in spring training last year in Goodyear, Arizona against Cleveland.
Yep.
And I thought that was amazing to see that. I had friends that was teasing her. We were sitting behind first base. So I had friends, I don't know them now. I got rid of those guys. But teasing her the whole time, telling the runners don't listen to her, all that horrible stuff. And, just safe to say I don't follow those people anymore. But, so shout out to her, and we're seeing an influx of women, and we want to see more. You have the GM in Miami. You got a coach with the Yankees, 2 coaches, I believe, in Boston, if I'm not mistaken. There's quality coaches going on, so I just want more women in MLB. Yep. I think that would be amazing that one day to have a manager in MLB being a woman. That'd be great.
Well, according to Isaiah, Becky Hammons is coaching your Las Vegas Raiders. So,
Oh boy.
All right, and then Isaiah, any final thoughts?
Yeah, my final thoughts is, I want to thank you fellas for letting me hop on with you guys tonight, even though I came in a little bit late. I want to thank the fans for tuning in. And I would say probably like the final thought is looking forward to the playoffs. How about them Clippers, James? I just had to throw that in there. And give me Juwan Howard to be the next coach of the Lakers. I want my favorite college coach to be coaching my favorite NBA coach or NBA team.
Why would he leave home and he hasn't done anything at Michigan? Why would he leave home right away?
You know what he did do though is that when I played NBA 2K, I scored 92 points with him as a 39-year-old. So that's history in my book.
I'm rookie mode. Stop that.
Oh, okay, and we're at that point now, so we do want to thank everybody for watching. I hope everybody has had a great time tonight watching the show, and we will definitely see everybody next Wednesday for another episode of Sports Minute. Have a fantastic freaking night.